Disney Star Wars Book of Boba Fett, Episode 7, the season finale, released very shortly ago. And I want to give my thoughts of the series, of the finale, as well as what's next for Star Wars, what's next for The Mandalorian Season 3. First off, let's just talk about my overall thoughts of the series. There was a lot of good, there was some great, and there was some bad. If I had to give it a rating out of 10, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10, which my rating is a 5 is an average, and a 10 is essentially perfection, so it's in the middle. For even more context, a 7 I would consider good, and an 8 I would consider great, so Boba Fett was in the middle of good and great for me. Specifically, what I love most about this season, about this series, was Boba Fett's rise with the Tusken Raiders and getting more light on the Tuskens of how they actually live in their society, and that was really interesting to see Boba rise like that. There was, of course, some moments I didn't really like what seems like Luke is doing as a Jedi now, as well as the overshadowing of Boba Fett by Mando, which, while those episodes were amazing, this is the Book of Boba Fett, not the Book of the Mandalorian. And also, the scooter bike gang is probably the worst edition of Star Wars I've ever seen. They reminded me of a Power Rangers, but I couldn't even take them nearly as seriously as that. Their bikes looked terrible. They did not fit in Star Wars. As characters, they were bland, and I don't even remember their names. I don't remember their purposes, and they did not feel important, and I honestly think you could have completely removed them from the series, and you wouldn't even realize they were gone. They had no impact on the story, and they did not feel distinct. They felt way too clean for being the kids that essentially grew up in Mos Espa and were this part of this scooter bike gang. I think you could have kept in those characters, made them a bit darker and a more criminalistic, and changed those goddamn scooter bikes. Those were absolutely terrible. But as I said, this series was still very good in my opinion. But probably my biggest criticism is that this was too short. 7-episode seasons are not enough. Hell, even 8-episode seasons are barely enough. Sure, Mandalorian did it twice, as both Season 1 and Season 2 were 8 episodes apiece, but those still felt too short, despite how amazing they were. This should have been 10 episodes. You have 4 episodes of Boba's rise with the Tuskens, 3 to 4 episodes of Boba as the daimyo of Mos Espa, and 2 to 3 episodes with the Mandalorian and the final battle of Mos Espa. Even possibly make the Battle of Mos Espa a 2-parter, which is 2 episodes. In a 7-episode series called The Book of Boba Fett should be in more than just 5 of the episodes as a major role. The ideal episode for seasons, for me at least, is at least 10. The CW used to have these long 20-plus episode seasons, which was far too much, as essentially they become too expensive to make high quality for that many episodes. There's a lot of filler and poor episodes. And 7 or even 8, even though they are packed with a lot of content and they look better, it still feels too short. I think 10 is the ideal, and the Daredevil showed that you can even go a bit longer than that with 13 episode seasons and still keep the audience engaged for that long. I'm not saying that this needs to be 13 episodes. I'm just saying that they should do at least 10 episodes per season for these different series. 8 just barely managed with The Mandalorian, but 7 was definitely not enough for the Book of Boba Fett. One of the things I also didn't like about this season so far, which actually still might not necessarily be true, but based on how the season ended, is that Luke is already on the ruined path of what the sequel trilogy has set for him, that he's going to repeat the mistakes of the Jedi. Luke has Grogu as his apprentice, an incredibly powerful child of the Force. He is the same race as Yoda. Luke knows that Grogu has the attachments. Luke forgets about his own attachments, and Luke somehow just doesn't know about the flaws of the past Jedi Order. He's supposed to have these 3 Force ghosts guiding him, and also seeking out more information of the Jedi Order to build his own order, as this is 6 years since the end of the Return of the Jedi. 6 years for him to have gotten a lot smarter and learned a lot more. But no, Luke gives this child an ultimatum. You can train with the Jedi, or you can go with your father figure and make sure that he's safe. Which, just think of the type of decision Luke is doing here. This very powerful, Force-sensitive child that the First Order, or the remnants of the New Empire, are searching after. He just lets him go out there with the Mandalorian and doesn't train him himself, even though the dark side would essentially crave his power. So yeah, I don't like how Luke was doing this. I had a theory, as a lot of you guys have probably seen, that I thought that this was not an ultimatum, it was a test. He knew that Grogu would pick the chainmail, and that he would essentially say, you know, I would have done the same thing. I did the same thing. I chose to go help my friends on Bespin instead of training with Master Yoda. So yeah, I don't like what they did with Luke in this season. I thought that we would get more of that, you know, hope and kind of new guard Luke that we were essentially given in the Legends or expanded universe of Star Wars, and, you know, before Disney bought everything and made all those non-canon, but still, it was good. Another thing is, there are theories that Cad Bane will still be alive, even though it seemed that Boba Fett did kill him, and that at the end of the Boba Fett season, we got that there is a modified Cobb Vanth coming, as the modifier from the middle of the season has Cobb Vanth in a bacta tank, and he is ready to do some incisions on him to make him better. Maybe give him a better quick draw. And does this mean that Cobb Vanth will get his revenge on Cad Bane, Wild West style? That'd be pretty interesting. Now, next is hype for Mandalorian Season 3, which should be coming out towards the end of this year of 2022, which I'm incredibly excited for. I think that season's going to be amazing. It will probably be the best Star Wars season yet. Well, maybe Kenobi will be better, but the difference is here is that Mandalorian Season 3 will have a lot built up into it with 2 previous seasons of Mandalorian and the Boba Fett season, as you will have Mando, now with Grogu, probably returning to Mandalore, having to go to the ruins of Mandalore to earn his status back as a Mandalorian. As Grogu, if he is totally just leaving Luke, it feels like a lot of Season 1 and 2 was wasted. Not completely ruined, but remember that Seasons 1 and Season 2 were all about bringing Grogu back with the Jedi and reuniting him, and then all of a sudden, already, Grogu is back with Mando. Of course, you still had a lot of the world being built up in those 2 seasons, and the relationship of Grogu and Mando being fostered, but it still is just different. Like, we were so excited to have Grogu be with Luke, and then Luke pulls out this old Jedi, these old guard nonsense of ultimatums and attachments, even though Luke has his own attachments with his sister, his friends, and also he will have an attachment with his first apprentice in the canon, which is Ben Solo, his nephew. So it just doesn't feel necessarily right. So hopefully we'll get more of Luke in Mandalorian Season 3. Maybe Luke will realize that his ultimatum was wrong and Grogu can have both paths, because that is the way of the new Jedi Order. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts of this review, this final thoughts, Book of Boba Fett down below, and also let me know your thoughts of the season itself and what you are excited for in Mandalorian Season 3 and Kenobi, and give me your ideas for more videos on this channel down below. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. May the Force be with you.